A very good afternoon to you and welcome to this Thursday edition of the Lunchtime News. I'm Nadim Majid. Let's start off with a look at your headlines. President Mahinda Rajapaksa is to address the non-aligned movement summit today. The Marine Environment Protection Authority says that oil is still leaking from the sunken ship off the coast of Panadura. And in news overseas, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon urges Iran to prove that its nuclear program is peaceful. On to those stories in detail. President Mahinda Rajapaksa is scheduled to address the 16th Non-Aligned Movement Summit today. The president left the country yesterday to attend the summit, which is being held in Tehran, Iran. Sri Lanka, which is among the 25 founder nations of the Non-Aligned Movement, also attended the first meeting of the group in Belgrade, Yugoslavia. The fifth Non-Aligned Movement Summit in 1976 was held in Sri Lanka and was held under the chairmanship of the then Prime Minister Sirimavo Bandaranaike. The UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is also participating at the Tehran Summit, which is the 16th Non-Aligned Movement Summit. Now moving on to some local news, opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe made an appeal to the public yesterday not to vote for the alliance and destroy the merit they had accumulated by worshipping the Kapilavastu relics.
Everyone who worships the relics has amassed a mountain of merit. That is good. We must all look to do good in our lives. That way we can shorten this journey. Now that you have amassed so much of merit, do not let it all go to waste by committing sin. I must tell all of you that this is a very fortunate area to have been graced by the presence of the Kapilavastu relics on 2 occasions. If you want to strengthen the mountain of merit you have amassed, then do not commit any more sin. Do not vote for the alliance this September. Vote for the UNP and save this provincial council from the hell it is being dragged into. This election rally, which was held with the participation of UNP and opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe and several UNP parliamentarians, was held in Eppavala, Anuradhapura.
වෙන්න දැන් ලැබුණු ක්‍රීඩා පුවතක්. 8වෙනි ආසියා කුසලාන දැල්පන්දු තරඟාවලියේ අවසන් තරඟයට සුදුසුකම් ලබා ගැනීමට ශ්‍රී ලංකාව අද සමත් වුණා. ඒ මලයාසියාව ලකුණු 67ට 58ක් ලෙස පරාජයට පත් කරමින් ඒ තොරතුරු ගෙන එන්නේ කොළඹ සුගතදාස ගෘහස්ස ක්‍රීඩාංගණයේ සිටින ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ෆස්ට් මාණ්ඩලික වාර්තාකරු සුරේෂි ගුණසේකර. සුරේෂි
8වෙනි ආසියානු ශුරතා දල්පන්දු තරගාවලියේ අවසන් තරගයට සුදුසුකම් ලබා ගැනීමට ශ්‍රී ලංකා ක්‍රීඩිකවන් දැන් සමත් වුණා. මේ මොහොතේ මාත් සමග ඉන්නවා ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායමේ නායිකා ගයත්‍රී ලංකා තිලක. ගයත්‍රී මොකද හිතන්නේ අතරම තරගයේ ජයග්‍රහණය ගැන?
ඔව් ඇත්තටම ජයග්‍රහණය ගැන නම් සතුටුයි. නමුත් මට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ අපි අපේ හොඳම තරගයේ සෙල්ලම් කරේ නැහැ හොඳම ක්‍රීඩා විලාසයෙන්. නමුත් අපි එහෙම සෙල්ලම් කළත් අපි තරගයේ දින්නා කියන්නේ අපිට මීට වඩා සෑහෙන දුරක් යන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් දැන් අපි ගොඩක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ මේ තරගයේ ලැබුව අත්දැකීම් එක්ක අවසන් තරගයට කොහොමද මුහුණ දෙන්නේ කියන එක. ගායත්‍රී හෙට තරගය ගැන කොහොමද අද මේ වෙච්ච අත්තරදීම් හදාගෙන හෙට තරගයට කොයි විදිහටද මුහුණ දෙන්නේ? ඔව් ඒක ඇත්තටම අපි අපේ පුහුණු කාර්මිකයන් සමග කතා බහ කරලා අපි තීරණයකට එයි කොහොමද අපි වුන් සමග ක්‍රීඩා කරන්න කියලා. ඒ වගේම තමයි මේ මොහොතේ මාත් සමග ඉන්නවා කණ්ඩායමේ පුහුණු කාර්මික හයිසින්ට් විජේසිංහ මහත්මිය. මොකද හිතෙන්නේ පුහුණු කාර්මික හැටියට ලැබූ ජයග්‍රහණය ගැන?
ජයග්‍රහණය ගැන සන්තෝෂයි. නමුත් මම පිළිගන්නවා අද අපේ කණ්ඩායම ඊටම ඉහළ මට්ටමේ ක්‍රීඩා විලාසය පෙන්වුවේ නැහැ කියන එක මම විශ්වාස කරනවා. නමුත් මේක හොඳ අවස්ථාවක්, හොඳ ප්‍රැක්ටිස් එකක්. මම හිතනවා මේ අද වෙච්ච වැරදි කරගෙන හෙට දිනේ ඊට හොඳ තරගයක් කරයි කියලා.
හෙට දිනේදී අවසන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම සමග අවසන් තරගයට සහභාගී වන කණ්ඩායම තවමත් ප්‍රකාශයට පත් කිරීමට බැහැ. දෙවන අවසන් පූර්ව තරගයේ පැවැත්වෙන්නේ හොංකොං කණ්ඩායම සහ සිංගප්පූරු කණ්ඩායම අතරයි. අද අවසන් පූර්ව තරගයේදී ශ්‍රී ලංකාව මලයාසියාව පරාජය කරමින් ලකුණු 67ට 58ක් ලෙස තමයි ජයග්‍රහණය වාර්තා කළේ. මීට පෙර ශ්‍රී ලංකාව ආසියානු ශූරතා දල්පන්දු තරගාවලියේ ශූරතාව අවස්ථා 4කදී දිනාගෙන තිබෙනවා. එම අවස්ථාවන් තමයි 1990 වසරේ 1997 2001 සහ 2009 වසරේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම හෙට අවසන් තරගයට පිවිසෙන්නේ පස්වන වරටත් ආසියානු ශූරතාව දිනා ගැනීමේ අරමුණින්. එයයි තරගාවලියේ තත්ත්වය මම සමුගන්නවා සුරේෂී ගුණසේකර ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ට්‍රස්ට් වෙනුවෙන් කොළඹ සුගතදාස ගෘහස්ත ක්‍රීඩාංගණයේ සිට.
தற்போது கிடைத்த செய்தி. 8வது ஆசிய வேலைப்பந்தாட்ட சாம்பியன்ஷிப் தொடரின் இறுதிப் போட்டிக்கு இலங்கை தகுதி பெற்றுள்ளது. மலேசியாவுடன் நடைபெற்ற அரையிறுதிப் போட்டியில் 67க்கு 58 என்ற புள்ளிகள் கணக்கில் இலங்கை வெற்றி பெற்றது.
This just in sports news, Sri Lanka advanced to the finals of the 8th Asian Netball Championships today when they beat Malaysia in the first semi-final at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo. Sri Lanka will now face Hong Kong or Singapore in the finals of the tournament. The first match on day 6 of the Asian Netball Championship saw host Sri Lanka take on Malaysia in the first semi-final match of the tournament. The home team, who played in a dominant fashion, went on to clinch a 67-58 victory over the Malaysians. The second semi-finals of the tournament will be played between Hong Kong and Singapore later today. Welcome back to Lunchtime News. Moving on to news from the elections. A discussion is to be held today between the Elections Commissioner and the Inspector General of Police. Deputy Elections Commissioner M. Mohammed stated that the focus of this meeting would be the security arrangements for the September 8th provincial poll. Meanwhile, the Deputy Elections Commissioner said that the distribution of polling cards ended today. Moving on, the Marine Environment Protection Authority states that there is a small amount of oil leaking from the sunken ship off the coast of Panadura.
General Manager of the authority, Rear Admiral S.R. Samarthunga, stated that beach cleaning and inspection operations are continuing. Oil had stopped leaking for a while, but now there is a minor leakage, but it is not serious. The original oil slick has also reduced in size to about a 3-kilometer area. The oil, which originally seeped out of the ship, has solidified and is now washing up on shores in globs similar in consistency to tar. Meanwhile, News First reported yesterday that globs of oil from the ship had washed up on the shore. The Marine Environment Protection Authority's General Manager said that the oil and tar deposits were found on the beaches of Vallavatta, Mount Lavinia and Bambalapitiya. He added that more debris and oil could wash up on the beaches in the coming days.
Still in local news, the police media spokesperson's office stated that 6 police officers sustained injuries due to a tense situation which arose during the protests staged by university students yesterday. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohan stated that during the protest organised by the Inter-University Students' Federation in Colombo, stones were hurled at the police. SSP Ajit Rohan stated that 6 police officers, including the OIC of the Maradana police, were injured. He added that 5 of the injured 6 officers have been discharged following treatment, while the other is still receiving in-house treatment. SSP Ajit Rohana further stated that investigations are underway to identify the group who pelted stones. Meanwhile, a workshop for media personnel on child protection was held in Colombo yesterday.
The National Child Protection Authority had organized this workshop to create awareness about reporting on incidents involving children.
When we report on such incidents, several matters have to be considered, and the Child Protection Authority is taking measures to create awareness on this. The affected children face many difficulties due to the manner in which some incidents are reported. During some instances, the reporting is done well, but in some other instances, due to what is shown through pictures, the children face many difficulties.
Meanwhile, investigations have been launched to arrest the suspect in a murder of a woman in the Kahawatala area in Polgahawela. According to the police media spokesperson's office, the woman's husband is suspected to have carried out the murder. The police say that the husband had severed his wife's legs, which resulted in her bleeding to death. This heinous crime had taken place at around 7 this morning. Meanwhile, a person was injured in a motor accident in Anuradhapura today. The accident occurred when a van toppled at the Anuradhapura-Matale junction. The van toppled into a waterway off the Nuvaravawa in Anuradhapura. Now, our correspondent stated that the driver of the van sustained minor injuries in the accident, which occurred at around 4:20 this morning. Well, as we informed you earlier on in the news bulletin, Sri Lanka advanced to the finals of the 8th Asian Netball Championships today when they beat Malaysia in the first semi-final at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo. Now, Sri Lanka will now face either Hong Kong or Singapore in the finals of the tournament. The first match on day 6 of the Asian Netball Championships saw host Sri Lanka take on Malaysia in the first semi-final of the tournament. The home team, who played in a dominant fashion, went on to clinch a 67-58 victory over the Malaysians. The second semi-finals of the tournament will be played between Hong Kong and Singapore later today. Moving over to London, wheelchair-bound physicist Stephen Hawking and South Africa's Blade Runner Oscar Pistorius were among the luminaries on hand for the opening night of the biggest Paralympics in the 11-day competition's history.
Hard on the heels of the hard act to follow London 2012 Olympics, the Paralympics got off to a rousing start with dancers, fireworks and near sold-out ticket sales for competitions to be held in the same Olympic Park venues.
For an understanding of the underlying order of the world, why it is as it is, and why it exists at all.
Stephen Hawking, diagnosed with motor neuron disease at the age of 21 and told in 1963 he had 2 years to live, began the ceremony by reading from the stage in his wheelchair. The London Paralympics will host the highest number of athletes since their official birth in 1960 at the Rome Games, with 4,280 athletes representing over 160 nations.
Will you be, for all of us gathering here, look up, stretch your wings and fly.
In scenes like those which gripped the world during the July 27 opening extravaganza at the Olympic Stadium in East London, a similarly inspiring and breathtaking show left the thousands in attendance and millions at home breathless from the start.
Welcome home to a movement that shows what sport is all about.
The Queen declared the Games open following the mammoth procession of athletes into the Olympic Stadium.
I declare open the London 2012 Paralympic Games.
In tennis news, third seed Andy Murray of Britain reached the third round of the US Open without any drama, while former champion Maria Sharapova also advanced. And that's all the news we have for you this hour. Join us again at 1:55 for more of the very latest. I'm Nadim Majid. Thank you for joining me.